This is a tragedy, an utter tragedy of Shakespearean proportions. Lady Imogen Marlowe stared at her image in the long mirror propped in a corner of her bedroom, miserable to her core. Too much of her life had been misery, ever since her mother's death nearly a decade ago. But things had gone from bad to worse at the summer house party hosted by Lord Rufus and Lady Caroline Herrington in Shropshire 6 weeks before. "At least you look beautiful," Imogen's sister Alice said, coming to stand beside her. "I am shocked that Father allowed you to buy a new gown for the ball tonight." Imogen's heart sank further. "Father didn't buy it for me. Lord Cunningham did." She spoke as though Lord Cunningham had purchased the axe that would lop off her head soon. Alice slipped a supportive arm around Imogen's waist, and the two of them stood there in silence, regarding their gloomy reflections. Their fates had been sealed at the Herrington house party. Their father had managed the coup he'd been talking about for years. He'd engaged all 3 of his daughters to men of title and wealth, or at least reputation and wealth, in the case of their eldest sister, Lettuce. Poor Lettuce had been all but abducted by the odious Mr. Pig, a merchant with grand plans and disgusting character, who had already forcibly married Lettuce and carried her off on a ship bound for America. Imogen's and Alice's fates were no less horrific. Alice was betrothed to the Aegiria Count Fabian Camoni, who had abandoned her almost as soon as the engagement was final, promising to come for her at Christmas. Alice was lucky to have the reprieve. Imogen, on the other hand, wasn't so fortunate. Her father had shackled her to Lord Cunningham, a lascivious bounder who was as old as her father, and who had made no secret about the reasons he wanted Imogen. She was fated to spend her marriage on her back, being used in ways she shuddered to imagine, until she was too worn out for the purpose. And then, who knew what would become of her?